Good evening, amateur radio stations listening on the VA3 Sky repeater. You've tuned into Skynet where your radio comes to life on frequency 146.985, tone 103.5. My name is Ken, call sign VA3KEX, and I'll be operating as the net coordination station for tonight's meeting from my location in South Etobicoke, Toronto. This net sponsored by the Skywide Amateur Radio Club, meets here each Friday at 8:30, and it's a forum to provide radio operators a means to discuss a variety of interesting topics, promote all aspects of amateur radio, distribute club information, develop friendships, and help you do amateur radio operators on the air. And you're not required to be a member of Skywide to participate, therefore all check-ins are most welcome. And if you'd like to learn more about the club, just go to www.skywide.ca or just do a Google search for the Skywide Amateur Radio Club. This is a directed net. It's about an hour in length, and when checking in, please give your call sign phonetically. First name, general location where you're transmitting from, and during the net, if you have any urgent or emergency traffic, just break in at any time. And at the beginning of the net, there'll be club announcements followed by a call for check-ins and an invitation to share any news or other topics you think will be of general interest as I go through a list of participants. As well, if you're involved in an activity or have a subject you'd like to present as a guest net speaker, please notify the club through the prior mentioned web address to make arrangements. And with that out of the way, time to start the net. Start off with club announcements and then the topics. Club barbecue, that's coming up May 24th, Kings Mill Park. Details can be found on the Skywide website, so if you want to take a look there, you'll find some additional information there. The park is located very close to the Old Mill restaurant. There's a park area just slightly east of there. The entrance for the park is right basically alongside the Old Mill and the restaurant's property. So, and once you're on that road, it'd be impossible not to be able to see it. Coming by subway, just get off at the Old Mill subway stop, walk the Bloor, turn left, stairs right there at the end of the bridge. Just go down those stairs. Again, takes you right to the park. Take a look to the left, and you'll be able to see us right there. Just dropping. Next club meeting, the 9th of June, the Club Ham Fest. So it'll be an opportunity for folks to bring in stuff that you'd like to pass on, maybe pick up something of your own, but there'll be an opportunity there for people to see what's there, and they might be able to find something. So that's coming up on the 9th. And new club feature. Phil has organized this one. It's referred to as Club Corner. It's on the Skywide Amateur Radio Site's website, and that is just an area where member articles can be posted, club projects people working on, will post them there as well. And Phil, who's now running the Thursday night tech meet, that's coming up this next Thursday. He'll be posting details of the meet on that on Club Corner. So I think you'll be putting minutes and other things on there from the meet. Just dropping. And topics for tonight. And pardon me. And for tonight, some of these are kind of a rehash of previous ones, but I thought I'd put them out here tonight because they generated some interesting conversation last time. And these are just suggested topics. I mean, if there's something else you'd like to talk about, bring up, something you see in the news you want to talk about, feel free. But for tonight, the first one, let's say a news flash comes in, and scientists have detected an intelligent signal coming from beyond our solar system. How do you think the world would respond, and what changes take place for humanity going forward? Next one, what do you think is the next major step in human evolution? Next one after that, if climate change passes a tipping point, do you think we have the ability to adapt and survive long term? And the last one here, what conspiracy theories trouble you the most, and which ones do you think have some truth to them? And that's the stuff for tonight here. And if there are any stations at this point, if you'd like to join us, come on in. I'm just looking here too. 24 degrees. It's still 24 degrees out. It was 26 already this afternoon in my location, so it's still a very, very nice night out. So I'm going to be heading a little bit later for a bit of a walk. Any stations out there, if you'd like to join us, come on in.
3VHA.
Robert, I got you there, VA3VHA.
Alpha Delta Zulu with a question for both you and Robert.
I got you there as well, Gary, VA3GDZ. Hang on, I'm going to come back to you in a sec, Robert. Let me just make another call, see if there's any additional stations there. This is Skynet, Ken here, VA3KEX. Come on in.
Victor Alpha 3, Foxtrot Mike Bravo.
Heard Wayne there, VA3FMB. Evening, Wayne. Let's go to the top here. Once I get down past Wayne, I'll make another call. And if there are any stations that you're listening along, you want to come in, just come in at any time, and I'll add you to the list. Robert, V3VHA.
I like the one about what we do if we got a notification that we've been contacted from somewhere outside our solar system. I think you'd see a massive panic. There'd be a resale on bomb shelters. Everybody be wanting to get their hands on a bomb shelter, such as was available during the wars. Yeah, I believe that would cause massive hysteria. And as far as a couple of the others, I can't remember them all, but yeah, I'll have to pull them up after the scan is complete on my stupid computer. I'm doing a virus scan to see what's caused my computer problem tonight. So I'm right in the middle of the scan, so I can't look up your rest of your questions there, Gary. But Gary, yeah, question for Gary. That's why I had Gary on my mind. Yeah, that's it for you, Ken. Gary, if you by chance happen to have in your log full of known knowledge an antenna for HF that will fit on a balcony, email it to me. V3VHA.
Robert, V3VHA. And the questions were, well, you got the first one there. The second one, what do you think is the next major step in human evolution? And one after that, if climate change passes a tipping point, do you think we have the ability to adapt and survive long term? And the last one was, what conspiracy theories trouble you the most, and which ones do you think have some truth? And then we'll be back to you in a little while, Robert. So you said massive panic. You think panic and hysteria would happen if we made contact. It was in 1938, Orson Welles with War of the Worlds. He put that on radio. There was some panic that happened in the U.S. It wasn't as great as what was reported in the media, but there was still some panic there. All right, thanks, Robert. Gary, good evening. Come on in, VA3GDZ.
Just leaving a little gap there, Ken. Good evening to all on the net this evening. Just got in from playing some tennis and sweating like a pig out there. It's good. It felt like summer. I heard the tail end of Robert's net earlier. Something he was asking about. Did people hear a growling noise on his transmission? Only when you key up, Robert. Hi. And yes, a mag loop antenna is a great antenna for balconies, and you can't afford it. They're very expensive, narrow bandwidth. There are other types, and I think you should get together with Ken because he's got the same situation, and we should have a special session where we talk about antennas for people that are in apartments and condos, and also BODA antennas as well. They are there. Let me let it drop. I haven't even got to my comments yet. Yeah, two quick comments which may stir some discussion. Number one, yeah, that club corner, that's a new feature. Trouble is, we don't know how to post anything, photos or articles or whatever. And there is a section that says login. I think there should be a separate session for club members where they can log in, and a directory structure so we can post minutes of meetings and presentations and articles. And I've got a spreadsheet that has macros in it so you can search by what night, what time you want and stuff like that. But it should be something that club members have access to, because posting to a public site, you got to be careful. I have one more. Let me sneak it in. You didn't have that many people yet, Ken. Yeah, it's about Aries versus, what are we calling now, EMT. We had a meeting a while ago. I don't know if the minutes are out or not, but there was a decision made to go with a local community information exchange in the event of severe weather or other emergencies, all the way out to the range of our repeater here. the net at 8 o'clock that Robert was doing, that was an Aries net. And we sort of agreed, I thought. You guys can comment on it. We're not going to try to resuscitate Aries. So maybe we could combine the two, start at 8 o'clock if we want, and combine the two. I'll just throw that out there for discussion. This is VA3GDZ, back to net.
Man.
This is VA3KEX, and Gary VA3GDZ. Let's address something here, the Club Corner. I'll leave that for Phil to address. I do believe there'll be a public space and also a member space for that. But you can speak with Phil about that. I was speaking with him about a day ago. We were talking about that. And a session for antennas. That would be a good one. Specifically, a session for people in apartments or places where it's hard to reach out. So I think that would be a good net to have. I would enjoy that one myself. It would save me from doing a lot of experimentation and a lot of reading, trying to figure out what would be best for myself and keep it at a reasonable price. So that's good. I like that too. And Aries, basically non-existent, which is why I've changed the name of my nets from that. But anyways, I think Robert was there, VE3VAJ.
Gary doesn't listen. My net is called the Greater Toronto Ham Net. It has no connection with Aries, ACS, or anything else. It's a self-made net, same as Ken's. We don't use Aries anymore. It doesn't exist until somebody smartens up and does something with it. Then we may go back to it. But yeah, I have a buddy pole here on the windowsill, Gary, that does 10 through 80, but it only does 25 watts. It's not going to be very helpful if I do get the radio I'm looking at. And what was the other thing you mentioned? You mentioned three things. Oh, the EMT. If you guys want for the EMT program to use the VE3 EMT license, as the custodian of it, you have my permission to use the VE3 EMT for that program. I think it's a good program. I think that's where I could see us going with it, and maybe somewhere down the road extend it. But yeah, if you guys want to use the EMT club calls, more than welcome to. VCJJ, back to net.
And the VA3KEX, and depending on a person's location, QRP, you can do some pretty good things with that. Getting out even 25 watts, but in the city here, particularly locations, apartment buildings, things like that, not such a good thing. But it's definitely not hopeless. I haven't given up on my location here. I just haven't had the time, haven't made the time to really put a lot of effort into it. I'm okay with UHF, VHF, and even Fusion Wires X for now, but I really should do something about figuring out an antenna system for myself, even if it's not just for my apartment here, if I take it out with me. All right, thanks, Robert. Gary, any response? VA3GDZ.
I do, but I don't want to hog the net. I'll wait for the next round. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay, I'll pick you up next time around. Wayne, good evening. VA3FMB.
VA3FMB, good evening. Just looking at the questions here. News flash comes in, scientists have detected an intelligence signal. This wouldn't be the first time this happened. It's happened in the past. If it's a news flash, I don't think there'd be any response from the public. First of all, wait for some sort of verification, because, like I say, it's happened in the past and turned out not to be what they thought it was. So, and I don't think, even if it was, I don't think general humanity will carry on like it is now, and there won't be mass hysteria this time. That's all I got to say about that one. Back to you.
And Wayne, VA3FMB. So a scientist has detected an intelligence signal, and yeah, I was referring more to something that had been confirmed, something in the water hole frequency, which is 1,420 to 1720 megahertz, which is, they call it water hole because it's very quiet. There's very little radio noise there in space, so they figure it's along the hydrogen hydroxyl line, so they figure if there's a signal coming in, that's where will be any little perturbations there in that line. It's likely not to be something natural. And my own thoughts about that is I think we would adapt. There's a lot of people now. There's an awful lot of people now that are actually hoping that some detection of some sort will come in. There's this sort of purveyance of attitude now where people are concerned that we're sort of this island in the universe and there's nothing else there. But I don't know. We may handle it. I think we'd probably handle it fairly well. But then there's others that think there might be something else going on, some panic or hysteria. All right, thanks, Wayne. Any additional stations at this point, Skynet? If you'd like to join us, come on in.
V3VAJ comment?
Robert, V3VAJ, come on in.
Yeah, Wayne doesn't remember what happened when the two airplanes crashed into the towers in the downtown New York. There, you had panomium, and that was only over two countries. People going out and buying water by the gallons, hoarding gasoline and everything else, and people writing their wills, and couldn't remember what else was taking place during that time. But yeah, I can see a panic. I really can. If they'll panic over a couple airplanes hitting a building, they're going to do a lot worse. So they think, hey, we could be overtaken by the Martians or people from Saturn or something. I don't know. Be a bit alarming, I think. In my personal opinion, I think you'd have panomium and fear, especially amongst the uninformed. Put it that way. Back to you, Ken.
And this is VA3KEX. So you think there'd be pandemonium if there was a detection? And you may think there probably even heightened hysteria if we were able to actually make physical contact. All right, thanks, Robert. And Gary, VA3GDZ, back to you fairly quick.
You are fairly quick there, Ken. A couple comments. Let's see, where do I start? Yeah, I know your net's called something different. I'm just saying it started with a different purpose. It was started as an Aries net, and then the club net sort of decided later in the game, well, let's have a club net. That's a good purpose, and let's not interfere, so let's go 830. So you got back-to-back nets with mostly the same people, and Phil was giving club news on the earlier net, whereas I think it's more appropriate on this net. I'm just saying two nets back-to-back, one net could do, and then maybe on another time or another day. For example, there's no afternoon nets. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you wouldn't interfere with the one on YRA if we had a net then. Anyways, it was just an idea. Instead of two nets, we'll combine them and do one, because you can do the purpose of both, I would think. And in terms of antenna for people in apartments, there's one, I'm sure it's a club member, it's a person who checked in, I just don't remember who. He ran wire all around his kitchen, and he was getting amazing QSOs out of that. Now, maybe he was frying his brain if he goes 100 watts and he's in the kitchen. I don't know. But he had antenna. Somebody on the morning net would know who it is, and he ran wire around his kitchen. Anyways, I'm going to tackle one of your questions before I let you go. Let me let it drop. Surviving climate change, I think that's something we should talk about with respect to your question. But if all of a sudden, if you mention all of a sudden we discovered intelligent life somewhere, well, I think they would have probably detected us first, and after listening for a while, they would have concluded that there's no intelligent life on Earth. Back to you, Ken. This is VA3GDZ.
And Gary, VA3GDZ. And surviving climate change. I think that's something very much worthwhile talking about, because it's It's almost impossible to deny. I know there are folks out there who do deny climate change is actually taking place, but it's pretty hard to deny it. I mean, it's you can't go even a week without seeing extreme events and prolonged extreme events happening. And what does that mean for us going forward? Are we going to be able to adapt? Are we going to be able to supply ourselves with resources going forward because of it? That's if it hits a tipping point, and it really skyrockets at that point. So I think it's something very worthwhile talking about, surviving climate change, or at least trying to survive climate change. And intelligent life, just dropping. Intelligent life, and if they're that far advanced, then there's a very good chance they've already detected us. And there was some discussion among scientists, astrophysicists, and astrobiologists were coming to a bit of a conclusion that maybe some of these intelligent species out there, they may have already known we're here. They don't want to make contact with us because we're not what they're looking for. They're looking for something more akin to their level of technology. Be like us finding a microbe somewhere on another planet. Yeah, we'd be excited about it, but we wouldn't be doing too much more other than just detecting it. So, yeah, they might not have much interest in detecting us. All right, thanks, Gary. And, wire around the kitchen, just dropping. And I had great luck where I was living in Bloor West there for a number of years around the house on the outside. I had for my shortwave, didn't have my license for ham at that point, but I had a long wire right around the entire perimeter of my house, right around the edge of it. I had antenna lead offsets, keeping it away from the aluminum siding and the eave troughs, and I could pick up a lot of stations of that. I had an awful lot of stations come in on that. All right, let's head to Wayne, VA3FMB.
Yeah, VA3FMB. Sorry, couldn't find my microphone. Yeah, just looking down the list, conspiracy theories trouble you the most. I don't think any of them trouble me. I think most of them are pure entertainment, looking at the conspiracy theorists trying to justify their conspiracy, and evidence like the flat earthers and stuff like that. I don't think any of them are at the point where they would bother me. And as far as one having some truth, I'd have to think about that long and hard. Back to you.
And VA3FMB, VA3KEX. And the ones that would trouble me, and do trouble me, Wayne, are the ones who are promoting unsubstantiated facts. In fact, even some of the facts are just made up regarding medical treatments. And that becomes very dangerous because there's a segment of the population out there that will follow that, and to their own detriment. So I find that troubling when conspiracy theorists come up with these wild claims about certain medical treatments, and there'll be people that follow that, and they end up harming themselves because of it. So that troubles me. That sort of thing troubles me. Any additional stations at this point? If you'd like to join us, this is Skynet. Ken here. Come on in. And I've posted the topics for tonight, but you're more than welcome to bring in anything else you like, just dropping. For those of you who don't have access to our club's email, the first topic here for tonight is, let's say a news flash comes in, scientists have detected intelligent signals coming from beyond our solar system. How do you think the world will respond, and what changes take place for humanity going forward? Next one was, what do you think is the next major step in human evolution? The one after after that was a change passes a tipping point. Do you think we have the ability to adapt and survive? The last one, which conspiracies trouble you the most, and which ones do you think have some truth? If you'd like to join us, come on in. VE3OUA. VE3RZO. Foxtrot X-ray. And I heard Reno there. Oh, actually, I heard Rudy V3OUA, then Reno V3RZO, and I heard X-ray, and that's all I caught of that last call sign. If you could come in again.
The one and only VA3KEX.
Yeah.
Phil, got you that time. I just wonder I didn't recognize your voice, but I got you there, V3GFX. Let's head to Rudy first. Rudy V3OUA.
Okay, I wanted to be with you tomorrow, but I don't want to give my. I know when it's cold. I hope it's not cold. I don't want to give it to anybody of you, so I am not gonna do it tomorrow. Sorry, guys.
And Rudy V3OUA, the barbecue, it's not tomorrow, Rudy, if that's what you're talking about. It's on the 24th.
The 24th. Okay, that makes it better. Thanks, Ken.
There you go. So if you're feeling better by then, come on down. So it's on the 24th. V3RZO, Reno, evening, come on in.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for hosting the net this evening, and thank you for allowing me. Good evening, everyone on net. I'd like to, I guess the next step in human evolution, I believe, is going to be the human-machine interface. Basically, like 3D printing internal organs, having them controlled by some form of external computer. Over.
V3RZO, VA3KEX. And I'm in line with that as well. Our evolutionary path, it hasn't changed all that much over the period of time that humans have started walking the face of the earth. And we haven't changed too much genetically from the Neanderthals or the Denisovans. But our next step, I think, is, like you're saying, a human-machine interface. And we see more of that nowadays. I mean, you see pacemakers, you see implants, electrical implants going into people. They're now talking about brain implants to help people with who've suffered hearing and visual loss. And so I think it's going to be a progression of that until we see an amalgam of the biological and the technological. And I think that'll be that's where we're heading. Something like, something akin to Star Trek, the Borg. I don't know if you watched Star Trek, the Borg. And there was an example of a human-machine interface there. All right, thanks, Reno. Yeah, we'll get you next time round, too. Phil, good evening. Come on in.
Yes, resistance is futile. Anyways, good evening, Ken, and good evening to everybody on net. Thanks so much for running net this evening, Ken. Nothing to add at this moment here, just getting seated here in the shack, and I'll catch you on the next round. I'll pass it back over to you.
Phil, V3GFX, yeah, how could I have forgotten that? Resistance is futile. Yeah, exactly, from the Borg. All right, that's the end of the list. Let me make one more call here, then we'll head to the top, and we'll head back to Robert, and then we'll work our way down. Any stations out there, if you'd like to join us, Ken here, Skynet. This is the Skywide Amateur Radio Club's net, the sponsored net. If you'd like to join us, come on in.
Victor Echo 3, Juliet Whiskey Kilo, Jeff.
And Jeff, good evening. Come on in.
VE3JWK, hey Ken, hey all on frequency. Turned the radio on late. Sitting here at the desk working on a project, but yeah, I pulled up the questions, so I'll have to scan through those, and I'll get in on the conversation. Sounds like a good start to the net with those questions. I would like to hear what some of the people have to say about that. Maybe I'll join in. Back to you, Ken, VE3JWK.
And Jeff, VE3JWK. Well, the first one was some opinion there, ranged from scientists who detected an intelligent signal coming from our solar system. How do you think the world will respond? And ranged from panic to just being very accepting of it. So So that was the two reactions so far with that. And the next major step in human evolution is Reno Community E3RZO, with the opinion that we're heading towards a human-machine interface, which is what I think as well. I tend to think we're heading in that direction. And climate change passes the tipping point. Do you think we have the ability to adapt and survive long term? Haven't had any responses to that yet, but we'll see what happens as that goes on. And which conspiracy theories trouble you the most? Wayne come in. There's none that really bothers him because he looks at them as what they are, just conspiracy theories. And that's it. All right, so we'll pick you up next time round. Robert VA3KEX.
Conspiracy theories that we're going to end up in the 51st state? Yeah. That's never going to happen, at least I hope not in my lifetime. Of course, they're going to go buy Greenland. I don't know what they want with an island full of ice, but it's up to them. But yeah, I don't know. Conspiracy theories, they'll come and go. I remember a couple of years back, a big theory was that the world was going to come to the end when the clocks turned over 2000. We didn't know what we were going to do. Y2K was here, the big disaster, the doomsday. Nothing happened. So, yeah. Are they true? Are they false? Are they made up? Are they there to alarm us? Are they there to make us think? I don't know. But you'll notice every time there's a little disaster, everybody goes running for water. Stores sell out of water almost first thing. You know, like you're going to live on water? I don't think so. Where would you put it? I mean, I live in an apartment. I got no place to store water. If I did, you know, where would I drink it? Because if it was a disaster, the building would be destroyed. So you'd have to almost have your own bomb shelter, like I said earlier, and have the pre-stocks the way they did back in the World Wars. I don't know if it was 2 or 1 where they had all the bomb shelters. Anyways, Ken, I'm pulling the cable. I'm going. So I'll say 73 to you. Thank you for running the net, and if you need to call me, I will be awake up to about 12 o'clock midnight, so if you want to call, you can. C3VAJ is out, QRT on your final.
Yeah, 73, Robert, thanks for coming in tonight, and we'll talk again down the road at some point. And COVID is an example of what you're talking about with water. That and toilet paper. I noticed that with toilet paper, that tended to be the big thing. I'm still not completely sure what that was all about. Someone might have an answer for that tonight. I don't know. It still befuddles me, but toilet paper and water. Water was another. Even now, water will tend to go really quick, particularly when they're calling for temperatures, high temperatures now, very severe high temperatures. I noticed that at Sobeys and No Frills, water tends to go off the shelves very, very quick. And water is one of those things that you can store for a very, very long time. You don't have to worry about the expiry date, other than the plastic particulates in the water. Another interesting, I'll be talking about in the Science Net tomorrow night. We're talking about particles in our water, or drinking water. I'll talk about that a bit more tomorrow night. All right, thanks, Robert. You head off, and we'll talk to you later. World War II, just after World War II, during the Cold War, that's when people were really gung-ho about bomb shelters. And the thing about those bomb shelters, there were just about next to none of them that would do any good for anyone if they were caught in a nuclear war. Might be all right for a tornado, hurricane, but if nuclear war broke out, very, very few of them would be survivable for various reasons. All right, thanks, Robert. Gary, VA3GDZ.
Thanks there, Ken, and hi to all the new attendees tonight. I'm going to be away from my radio, Ken, but I'll try to listen to the end of the net as best I can. So, not necessarily my 7.3, maybe what's half of 73? Hi. Anyways, yeah, for my final 2 cents, I'm going to follow up on my comments about the impacts of climate change. Each one of these topics, I'm going to go through just a few of them now. Each one of them merits a proper discussion, and each one of them merits what are the solutions as well. So let me just go through a few of them. We've talked about one that's obvious is severe weather, the jet stream oscillations in the jet stream, the path of hurricanes and whatever. The most destructive things seem to be flooding, more flooding, and drought, which results in wildfire and crop damage. So severe weather is one that we have to figure out how we're going to cater to that. Second one is in our homes. We're going to all need more energy and more money, because not only do you have to heat, almost everybody's going to need air conditioning, and everybody's going to need air filtration too, because of all the pollution. So that means only the wealthy are going to do well. The poor people are not going to do well. Let me let it drop for a sec. That leads to a third item I thought I'd mention is population migration. There's some scary forecasts on that, because it just will not be survivable in certain parts of the world. So mass migration. Somebody better build that wall on the 49th parallel. I think I know who should pay for it. Last one, just to mention, because it's a long list, impact on food. Food is going to get more expensive. How will crops adapt? And also impact on the oceans. You've heard about disturbances in the jet stream causing dramatic change in Europe in particular. So each of these merits a separate discussion, Ken. And what are the solutions and how are we going to cope? Because we don't seem to have too much choice. I'll pass it back to you, 7-3 from me, and I'll listen as long as I can. This is Gary, Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu.
And Gary, so you're giving your 36.5 at this point. And the severe weather, the jet stream, yeah, that's of particular concern now, because it's really wonky. It's really wonky these days, the things it's doing. Never been seen before, at least for prolonged periods. Flooding and drought, yeah, we can expect to see more of those happening. And with either one of those plays into what you're saying about population migration, people moving to escape those, and that puts a strain on wherever they're going for resources, so that has to be addressed, is dropping. And as a result, with flooding and droughts, that affects the food supply, so food will become more expensive, as if they aren't already, but that'll increase, so food expense will go up. More energy for heating and AC, absolutely. Colder winters, prolonged winters, need more heat, and then in the summer, we can see what's going on now with the huge heat waves we get, and some of them are breaking records, and each year, and I don't suppose this year will be any different. We'll be seeing records broken again, probably here in Canada. Wildfires are expecting those to possibly break records this year. And you're mentioning, too, about air filtration. I don't think, and I don't give that a whole heck of a lot of thought either, and it should be given a lot of consideration because, as you said, with air pollution, we'll need to address that. Even just indoors, we're going to need some sort of air filtration to make the air much more breathable, as it is now, other than all the greenhouse gases and that are in the atmosphere, all these plastic particulates and rubber particulates coming off car tires that we're breathing in, all that sort of stuff. So air filtration, that's something that's overlooked and it shouldn't be. All right, thanks, Gary, and we'll I'll give you a show next time around. If you want to come in, then you can come on in. Wayne, VA3FMB.
VA3FMB. Yeah, nothing else from me, I think, for now. Anyway, thanks for doing the net, and we'll catch you later. 73.
73, Wayne, you head off, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. And I haven't looked out my window yet to see what the sky is like. I don't know if it's clear or not. But if it is, you may feel like getting out with your scope for a little while. But then again, with the heat we've had today, you may have a lot of oscillations going on in the atmosphere, so you'll get a lot of scintillation, particularly if you're trying to look at any of the planets that may be out. All right, thanks, Wayne. And Rudy, V3OUA. And Reno, V3RZO.
Thank you, Ken. Ken, and good evening everyone again on net. As far as the climate change, I do agree there is something that we're going to have to do to help further along our species to stay here. I suppose if it becomes harsh and radical enough, we're going to have to adapt, perhaps build eco-style bubbles of some sort, live underground, live underwater. As far as the farming goes, I know I've seen some documentaries where they do in warehousing stack farming or multi-level farming. Over.
VA3KEX. And there's another very good point too. Climate change gets bad enough. What does that mean for our homes? We may have to rethink how we're living. May have to think about going underground. May have to think about different types of shielding for energy conservation, so we're not radiating a lot of heat or taking a lot of heat in to keep cool, just dropping. And so there's all those considerations. They're now talking about too, as the temperatures are increasing now. People who are working outdoors, construction people, they're now thinking in not too far in the future at all, where they may start requiring a lot of these folks to be working very, very late in the afternoons, like in the evenings, right through nighttime, to avoid the scorching sun and heat in the afternoon. So a lot of things we're going to have to adapt to. A lot of things we may have to change as we're going forward. Not a good sign. Phil, V3GFX.
Hey Ken, Phil here, V3GFX. I'm just still here for the ride, so I'm just listening in here. I'll send it back over to you. Sorry, Ken.
Okay, not an issue at all, Phil. I'll give you a shout next time round, and don't worry. If you don't even worry about coming in. If you want to come in. I'll give you about 5 seconds. I don't hear from you, then I'll just assume you're otherwise occupied. I'll move on. I'll give you a show next time round. Jeff, VE3JWK.
VE3JWK. Hey Ken and all in frequency. Yeah, reading through those questions there, what do I think the next major step in human evolution is? Well, somebody brought up the point, only the rich will do good, which is a possibility, but I mean, if things were to get really bad, I mean, those that have been living in a filtered air lifestyle and purified water, and well, perhaps they might be actually a step behind from an evolutionary standpoint, whereas those who aren't exposed to, such lavish conditions may perhaps build other types of immunities to, make them tougher during a real drought. Because at the end of the day, you're always going to have to walk from your car to the grocery store, and you're always going to have, if you want to go for a walk outside, you're going to be outside. I mean, I don't see it coming to, full-face filters anytime soon to beat, being in city air going for a walk. I suppose, yeah, who knows what's going to be in the future. But, those that, that's what people exercise, and when you exercise, you tear your muscles and they come back stronger, So maybe from an evolutionary perspective, we're adapting to these microplastics. Next major human evolution change, I mean, we evolved to get where we were today, eating the foods that we've harvested. I mean, we gave up grass and now can't do it, but we're taking on microplastics, so perhaps, I mean, this is being very optimistic about something that, yeah, it might sound a little crazy, but heck, maybe, it's a petrochemical or whatever, maybe not quite, obviously, use it to any benefit in our system, but, being able to pass it through to an extent without really adversely affecting our overall health, that might be more, that might be amongst our evolutionary future. Okay, back to you, Ken. I'd like to hear what you think about that. You know, this is optimistic, and I think there's some truth behind it. I've definitely felt this way in the past. Over to you, VE3, JWK.
VE3, JWK, VA3KEX. Jeff, I never thought of some of those, and I think they're really good ideas. The last one you're talking about, let's say microplastics, I think I know where you're going with that, where we build up a tolerance and immunity, some of this stuff, this pollution and stuff in our atmosphere, so we evolve that way. We'll make that evolution in that way. So, yeah, who knows? I mean, they don't exactly know right now what these microplastics are doing to us, other than they have some idea of some of the consequences. They're associated with certain cancers, hormonal imbalances, and some cognitive things, but they don't know the whole spectrum of what they're doing. So do we become immune to them at some point, adapt to them? And the point you made too about the rich might not do so well, and you mentioned what like a pampered lifestyle, and they might not adapt as well as those who've been subjected to actually having to toil a bit and be exposed to some hardships. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense as well. So yeah, good valid points for that. And our food, we may end up. I think this is what you're alluding to as well. Food, we may have to at some point think about our diets. Our diets have changed since we came climbing down out of the trees. We became omnivores. At first, we were basically almost herbivores, nuts and fruits and things like that, just dropping. And omnivores, and at one point in time, we were basically just eating meat. But yeah, we may have to make some changes there too, and maybe go back to some earlier lifestyle of eating habits. So yeah, good point. Yeah, I never thought of those, particularly when you're talking about the pampered lifestyle and adapting to some of the pollutants. All right, thanks, Jeff. Let me make another call. We're at the end of the list. I'm just going to turn my page here. Yes, we're at the end of the list. Yes, we are. I'll make another call for any additional stations, and I'll head to the top of the list. Come in. If you want to come in, I'll give you about, come in. If you want to come in, and this is VA3KEX. And I'm surprised how well the net has done tonight, being this is the long weekend. People are heading to their cottages and making the most of the day and being out. So I think we've done reasonably well here for the net this evening. And thank everyone for coming in tonight. Gary, I know you're giving your 36.5, and I'll just see if you want to come back in.
I dropped down to 0, 7-3 to all.
Okay, Gary, 73, talk to you later, and enjoy your night. And we're just about done here. We've got about another 9 minutes to go. We'll see if we can make it to the bottom of the hour. I think Rudy's headed out, but I'll try anyways. VE3OUA. And Reno, VE3RZO.
Thank you, Ken. This is Victor Echo 3 Romeo Zulu Oscar saying 7-3. I don't have much left to add. It was a fantastic net this evening. Very good, interesting points from everyone. I suppose I'll just give a traffic report in the southwest end of Toronto. That Lakeshore and Humber River area, Lakeshore east and westbound is moving. Gardner itself is moving eastward and westward. Back to you. Over.
Marina VE3R said, yeah, thanks for coming in, and I'm glad you could participate with us tonight. And you're saying the Lakeshore and Humber River area, and you're looking there, traffic east and west is moving along, so that's good. I sort of had visions of the bumper-to-bumper, people trying to get out of the city after they got home from work. So maybe some people are leaving it till tomorrow. All right, thanks. You enjoy your night. 73 to you, and we'll talk to you later. Maybe hear you sometime tomorrow, 11 a.m. net, or maybe in the evening for the Science and Tech net. And Phil, VE3GFX. Phil, don't worry about coming. I'll give you 5 seconds. If you don't pick up, then I'll just assume you're busy there, and I'll just move on. This is Phil, VE3GFX.
Hey, no worries, Ken. No, I'm still here, and just tinkering around here in the shack, and just listening along, and it's been a great net. But, yeah, and an FYI, I have been recording it, and it will be posted up onto the Skywide Amateur Radio Club's YouTube channel, and be available to stream there. Anyways, Ken, 7-3, I'm going to pack it in here and call it a night. Back over to you.
I think we'll be calling it a night a bit early here. We're, now looks like let me check my phone here. We're 9 minutes to the bottom of the hour. So we'll see what Jeff is up to here, VA3KEX. I'll make another call if there's no one in, because everyone has pretty much headed off at this point, and I think we'll call it a night at that point. And thanks, Phil. And you're recording it for the club, so that'll be good. That'll be good for the archives. People want to listen in on a particular night, see what's happening on any of our nets. Very good. Thanks, Phil. Jeff, VE3JWK.
Victor Echo 3, Juliet Whiskey Kilo. Question number 3. If there were a climate tipping where would humans be allowed or able to adapt and survive long term? You know, last I remember the Biosphere project where they sealed off humans and plants in a chamber was like a bad failure. But this is like, I believe, don't quote me, but like 90s. Like, I haven't seen any information on people trying. So therefore, how would it work underground, you know, with lights? You know, I just haven't heard of like a project like that where they've sealed off, you know, anybody to try and sustain civilization of some sort for an extended period of time. I'd like to hear about that. It would sound like a pretty cool project, but I'd like, Ken, if you know of something, let me know. I mean, I guess there's the ISS up there, but I mean, they kind of have not regular, but they have deliveries and whatnot. Fun fact, I visited the Defen bunker in Ottawa. I went deep underground, very cool experience. We'll send it back to you, Ken. Just wondering, have there been any, okay, so your question, do we have the ability to adapt and survive long term? At this point, no, but I think AI and quantum computing with some more advancement in that field, I think we may have a chance to sustain a small population, maybe at the right point. I don't know, the cradle of humanity, maybe that's the place to go, or maybe it'll be Antarctica, I don't know, but I think we're getting towards being able to support a small population at least. Back to you Ken, this is VE3JWK.
And Jeff, VE3JWK, the Biosphere project, don't know a lot about that other than, I think you're right, that was back in the 90s, and something tells me that was a project that was in the U.S., in Arizona there, and they were trying to see their survivability in an enclosed area, trying to be independent, and I don't know a lot. Might be a good topic for the science net. I'll give that a look. I can't comment too much about that. But I know, it was. What I do know, too, that's what you're saying, it didn't go over so good. The Defen bunker, that would be interesting to see. That would be an excellent thing to see. And I'll just call you back in a moment for a description of what you saw there. And long-term survival skills, maybe no. Maybe with the way things are happening so quickly now, it's not giving us a lot of time to adapt. But so we have to worry about that. The Defen bunker, what was there?
Right, the Defen bunker. It was a grade 8 field trip with my public school, and I was surprised how not so much steep, but just how long we were noticeably walking downhill on a ramp, and a little bit vague here. Big steel door open, big steel door like vault doors in a number of places to get into the facility. Living quarters were tight, as you can imagine, but I got to see the food court, and there was. I mean, this is thinking back to it now. Maybe it's just kind of what they told the kids to scare them and give them a good story. But there was a couple where they chains. No, they were ropes or chains, and they say don't pull that because it'll empty a shaft and it's an escape hatch. So yeah, that's if you want to go back up to the surface and try surviving there to escape an underground emergency. But, you know, it was pretty cool. I think at one point they were housing a lot of gold there. We got to see the vault itself. It was an actual built square concrete facility that had a walkway around it with mirrors. So you could stand in one point and look at the mirrors and see all the way around this vault. And it was pretty big. So that was cool. But other than, oh yeah, and also something that you can't not notice, that would be the amount of concrete, because I can't remember how many meters you are underground, but it's significant, and that's what it is a concrete structure. So yeah, I don't know if they're still doing tours there, but I was pretty fortunate to have been able to see what I saw back in grade 8 there. So yeah, would I do it again? Thinking about it as an adult, I can't remember all the details, so it would be neat to see again. Okay, Ken, thanks for the questions. We'll say 73. I'll say 73 to everybody. This is Victor, Juliet Whiskey Kilo.
73, Jeff, and thanks for joining us tonight. And I wouldn't mind doing that myself, checking that bunker out. And I've just made a notation here. That might be a topic for the Nostalgia Net, bomb shelters in Canada during the Cold War, and see if anyone's had experiences with those, know anything about those. So maybe for the Nostalgia Net. I'll put this out for everyone, and when you're talking about bomb shelters, I got thinking there's a fellow, Bruce Beach, and he has a bomb shelter, and it's been a while, so I just quickly had to look up the details on this, and I'll read it. It's in Ontario here. It's called Arc 2 Shelter. Just dropping. And this is a nuclear fallout shelter. It's built by, I'm just reading, this is from Wikipedia, and I was going to make a trip there one day with a friend. There's a friend of mine who's a friend of this fellow. I never got around to it, but anyway, it's a nuclear fallout shelter. It was built by a fellow, Bruce Beach, in the village of Hornings Mills. This is north of Toronto. And the shelter, it became habitable in 1980, I'm just reading here, and has been continuously expanded and improved since then. It's 930 square meters, 10,000 square feet shelter. It's composed of 42 school buses, which were buried underground as patterns for concrete that was then poured over to provide the main structure. Just dropping. Onto which up to 5 meters, 14 feet of earth were piled to provide fallout protection. And the construction for that, it began in the early 1980s, that during the Cold War. So there. So if any of you want to do a little research, there's a major bomb shelter. It's habitable right now, and it's in Ontario here, just north of us. And 73, Jeff, and that takes me to the end of the list. And just before we head off, and you know what, we made it to the bottom of the hour. It's 9:29, so we made it through for another net. I'll make one more call here before we tie the ribbons. There may have been some folks listening in, didn't have an opportunity to join us. Ken here, VA3KEX, Skynet, if you'd like to join us, come on in. Well, we'll tie the ribbons here for tonight, and including myself, 8 check-ins here tonight, so I think we did pretty good here tonight. And folks, for Skynet, I do post the topics. They're just suggested topics. At any time, if you want to introduce a topic of your own, you don't even have to notify me prior to the net. Just introduce it during the net, and that's good enough. I just put them out there just to kickstart the net and get some conversation going. But you're more than welcome to introduce anything of your own if you like. It doesn't matter. It could be news items, whatever you like. And we've reached the end of the net for this week. And I'm going to thank all the stations that checked in here, and hope everyone can join us again next week, same time, same frequency. We'll be here at 8:30 p.m. Next Friday evening. And once again, 73 everyone, thanks for joining here tonight. And I think it's still a nice night, temperature-wise out. And I'm going to head out here in a little bit with Jasper. It's 21 degrees out, so it's still a nice night for a walk. All right, I'm heading off. I'm going QRT in a moment. And once again, 73 everyone. We'll talk again. VA3KEX, and I'm gone.